Hello, class. Um, I just thought it's about time. We've been using Drive for a little bit to give you a little bit of an explanation. I'm the guy over in the corner with the funny looking glasses just because I can't see too well when it gets too close to me. You probably have, most of you have some parents and grandparents that have to wear these things. They're kind of a pain in the butt most of the time, but anyway, we'll try to get past that. And hopefully, you have experienced a little bit about Drive. One of the things that I certainly want to visit with you about is the fact that I'm not trying to sell you on Google or the documents or the spreadsheets or any of those kind of programs too much. There's other ways of doing this. The power that a program like this gives you is the collaborative type function to it. And that's huge when it comes right down to it. It's what computers back in the day when I first started using them promised that they would do, and now they're actually doing it, where in real time more than one person can work on a particular document. I usually use the example that we would write or type a document in Word, Microsoft Word, finish it, ask for approval or additions or subtractions from our colleagues or maybe someone up on the chain of command. We would attach it to an email. It would be received by them. They would have to download it onto their computer and then bring it up in their own Word program, make the changes, change it, save it under another name, reattach it to an email, and send it to us. And we may go through several iterations like this. And I hope that you can kind of see the fact that in the case of a document in Word or in Google Drive here, that each one of us, we can have a multitude of people working on one document or one spreadsheet, and we don't have to continually save a different iteration of the same document. This actually has gotten organizations into trouble because you might the one iteration that wasn't polished went out instead of the one that was intended to be an example of maybe something that could happen. But anyway, it really does give some power. You put some motivation behind a bunch of people, and you usually end up with certainly great results. If there isn't a lot of push and energy and things like that for people to get together and work, then a lot of times it's just a disaster. So I do recognize that part of it. If you're sold out to Microsoft, that's okay. Um, you're going to be able to use Microsoft within the bounds of a program like Drive too. So you might be able to use both very well. So I'm not trying to train you to use something else. You might find that you'll use this more often. Some people do, and some people actually end up going back to what they started with. But it is in the context of a course like this, it makes it very simple to communicate back and forth and share these documents so that I can see them as you're typing them basically, or putting them together. And I don't have to build another spreadsheet or save another one on my particular computer to even see it. So I know that there is a Microsoft product that is similar to this. You have to stay in the Microsoft environment in order to use it, would be the only drawback. But where a product like this, you can actually use Microsoft or OpenOffice or any of the other Excel or any of the other products that are out there open source in order to communicate back and forth. The one thing I wanted to and try to make a video with some brevity is to explain to you the need to keep things organized. And as far as your drive, which you can think of as a file cabinet, actually, out up there on the cloud, actually it's on somebody's server, and it's on a multitude of servers, so that the chances of you losing it are very, very slim, and actually haven't happened to this point because of that. But anyway, a file cabinet is what you ought to think about. This is the background you see right now on my screen is the kind of setup that I'm comfortable with. Now you can modify that quite a bit, and it just depends on what things you desire. I can come over here to where it says grid view, and I can change that so that these are all the folders, the primary folders in my drive right here. And you fool around with the settings, that you can make things look a little bit different. Again, I'm most comfortable with this one, and it works the best for me for now. Of course, you're familiar with the new. You can do quite a few things. You can add a folder so that you can keep things organized, and maybe if you're a full-time student, you'd have a folder for each one of your classes, and you might have subfolders underneath that in order to keep everything in one place and where you can find it. That has been a problem since the advent of computers, is that the file, you saved it, but it went somewhere on my hard disk, and surprisingly I can't seem to find it. But there is a way of actually keeping it fairly organized. If you come down here to the second option, you can actually upload a file. If we pull that down, and I'm using an Apple, so it may look a little bit different to you when I actually click on the upload, but I can upload any of the Microsoft products. I can use a graphic or a picture, any kind of file that I want to. In fact, I happen to use a lot of QuickBooks. I have been known to actually keep a backup of my QuickBooks files up on the cloud, so that if I were to lose them, they would be someplace that I could find them again. So, I mean, anything that you think is savable, you can upload onto your drive, and it will keep them up on the cloud. So anyway, that's the upload function. Here the thing of it is, so far you have shared several files with me in different ways, and you've seen the explanation where you can share to edit, you can share to view, which I can't change anything if you were to share it that way, or you can actually share it to suggest. And that would where the person that you share it with could actually offer up some suggestions, and then they would not be incorporated into that document or spreadsheet in that case, but they would be shown as an actual suggestion, as a comment. Okay, some other ones that are fairly important. Let me just move this box out of the way. Well, it's not gonna. Well, let's cancel that. If I hit recent, I can see all the recent files that I've actually used within my drive, which is, it's kind of handy. You can just, with one click, go back to one of the files that I'm currently working on, that sort of thing. I have a direct access to Google Photos, where Google keeps the photos from. I might have my phone hooked up directly to Google Drive, and it'll upload them to Google Photos. I can look at all the ones that I've actually starred, or I can look back in some of the things that I've actually thrown away, okay, in the trash. You can see how much data I've used, and I've been using this thing for years, so I've used up 2 gigabytes. You have up to 5 to use without having to pay anything. So the cost of the program is fairly cheap when you consider that it doesn't cost you anything. If I just double click on my drive, you'll see all the different folders that I've set up in order to stay organized. And I do that by just going to new first of all and then hitting the new folder. I can make subfolders subsequently to any of these folders and keep it organized. You might notice that there are some folders down below, and you can see one right here and right here maybe. I'll describe it as the farm management contest. That's a folder actually that I have built that shares everything in it to certain people that I've given access to. If I uh, see what I can do with that particular folder, you can see that I can actually share it. I can do several things. I can get a shareable link so I can send it to somebody. I can move it. Of course, I can star it. I can change the color of it and the whole kinds of things. You can get kind of wild with it. But the big thing is that I can share the whole folder. So not only can you share just a document or a spreadsheet or a presentation or something like that, you can share the whole thing. You might consider building a folder that you share with me and giving me editing ability, and then you could just save the particular files that you build into that folder, and they're automatically shared with me. Does that make sense? Hopefully. So, I mean, in this case, we could put tjones@caspercollege.edu if you were to build that folder. Okay. So that's the gist of what I wanted to cover this afternoon. If you have any questions, I'm always open, and I always enjoy visiting with those of you, especially that are distance learners. You give a little bit of a perspective that we don't get right here on campus. I was a distance faculty for a long, long time, taught completely 200 miles away from campus, so I, I can relate to a lot of the things that you are going through. Sometimes it helps that we can talk on the phone or even actually talk face to face in a session like this. And get a perspective of where everybody's coming from. So, I mean, if you ever end up in a place where you don't quite understand the instructions that are given, you may be from a part of the country, and we're from the West. We actually communicate in a little bit different ways. We've got a different, somewhat of a dialect and things like that. So it may need a little more explanation in order to get you down the road that you need to get. So don't be afraid to give me a call. That's why I also give out my cell phone. I'm up early, and you're welcome to call the office. Try that probably first, but don't be afraid to call my cell phone. I may not answer it quite late in the evening because I'm a early to bed, early to rise kind of fellow. But anyway, I would enjoy getting to know you and seeing where you come from. All right. Thank you.